Have you ever walked into a packed room and felt your chest tighten, your thoughts scatter, and an overwhelming urge to leave immediately? You're not broken. You're not antisocial. Your brain is actually doing exactly what it's designed to do, and understanding why might change how you see yourself completely. Let's start with sensory overload, because this is where everything begins. Your brain processes roughly 11 million bits of information every single second, but you're only consciously aware of about 40. When you're in a crowded place, that filtering system gets overwhelmed. The conversations bleeding into each other, the unpredictable movements, the smell of perfume mixing with food and sweat. Your nervous system isn't being dramatic. It's genuinely struggling to prioritize what matters, and that cognitive chaos translates into physical discomfort. But there's something deeper happening called threat detection bias. Your ancestors who were hyper-aware of potential dangers in chaotic environments were the ones who survived long enough to pass down their genes. In a crowd, your brain can't easily monitor threats. You can't see escape routes clearly. You can't predict where the next bump or push is coming from. This activates your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for processing fear, even when there's no actual danger present. You're not being irrational. You're experiencing an evolutionary safeguard that's misfiring in a modern context. Here's where it gets interesting. There's a concept called locus of control, which is basically about how much power you feel you have over your environment. People who hate crowds often have a strong internal locus of control. They thrive when they can make choices, set their own pace, and direct their attention purposefully. Crowds strip that away. You move when the crowd moves. You stop when they stop. You're forced into proximity with strangers who aren't respecting your boundaries. For someone who values autonomy, this isn't just uncomfortable. It feels like a fundamental loss of self-determination. The social comparison theory adds another layer. Psychologist Leon Festinger discovered that we constantly evaluate ourselves by comparing to others around us, and we do it automatically. In a crowd, you're suddenly surrounded by dozens or hundreds of people to unconsciously measure yourself against. Are you dressed right? Moving correctly? Taking up too much space? Or not enough? This mental processing happens beneath your awareness, but it drains your cognitive resources fast. It's exhausting to be in a constant state of social calibration, even when you don't realize that's what you're doing. Then there's the reality of personal space violations. Edward Hall's proxemics research showed that we all have invisible boundaries, and when they're crossed without permission, we experience genuine psychological stress. Most people need about 1.5 to 4 feet of personal space to feel comfortable. Crowds make that impossible. Every unwanted touch, every stranger in your peripheral vision, every moment someone's too close sends little stress signals through your system. It's not one big anxiety, it's 1,000 micro-stressors creating compound interest. Let's talk about introversion for a moment, because this matters more than people think. Introverts aren't necessarily shy. They're people whose nervous systems are more sensitive to stimulation, which means they reach optimal arousal levels much faster than extroverts. A crowd that energizes an extrovert can push an introvert past their threshold into overstimulation. It's like someone turning up the volume on every input until it distorts. You're not being difficult. Your system is genuinely receiving and processing stimuli more intensely. Finally, there's something called cognitive load theory. Your working memory can only handle so much information at once before performance drops. In crowds, you're simultaneously navigating physical space, monitoring social cues, filtering sensory input, maintaining conversations, and trying to achieve whatever goal brought you there in the first place. That's multiple cognitive tasks competing for limited mental resources. When you feel mentally exhausted after being in a crowd, it's because you essentially ran a marathon in your mind. Here's what matters most. Hating crowded places doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you have a nervous system that processes information deeply, values autonomy, and responds honestly to overstimulation. Those aren't weaknesses. They're the same traits that probably make you thoughtful, observant, and authentic in smaller settings where you can actually thrive. The next time someone calls you antisocial for avoiding that packed concert or crowded mall, remember this: you're not rejecting people. You're protecting your ability to be fully present for the interactions that actually matter. And that's not something to apologize for. That's self-awareness. If you found this perspective valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that helps you understand the psychology behind your everyday experiences. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can learn is that you make perfect sense.